Marvel Rivals Season 6 is here, and with it came a Battle Pass chock full of new skins to grind for. As always, developers cooked up a few original concepts along with some reimagined costumes from the comics. I'm happy to report this Battle Pass has something for everyone. Today, we're gonna break them down. We're gonna look at the skins in the game, then compare them directly to the comic book source material. I'm gonna approach this as somebody who is relatively new to comics, but also as someone who went to school for animation and character design. This show is more about the art and artists rather than the history and lore. Although I do try my best to incorporate a bit of that too, for context purposes. If that kind of perspective sounds cool to you, how about subscribing, dog? I do videos about Marvel Rivals cosmetics like all the time, bro. You're gonna love it. To keep this somewhat organized, we're gonna go in reverse chronological order, starting in 2026 and going all the way back to 1941. This Battle Pass is truly generational. We'll get the Marvel Rivals exclusives out of the way first, since they don't really have any direct comic book influence. First off, we get the skin that comes with the Battle Pass, Venom, Space Corsair. I don't know about you boys, but this deeply disturbs me. It's my least favorite symbiote skin in the game by far, and there's a lot of them, and I'm about to tell you why. First, the things I like. I like the spread of spikes and fangs around his neck, chest, and shoulders. They're actually terrifying and contribute to creating a whole new silhouette for the character. I like the tears and rips in the suit around the abdomen and thigh. I love the blade attachment to his left hand. Where the design falls apart for me is everywhere else. Seeing Eddie's head poking out of the top like this could have been designed in a much more appealing way. I love this as an idea, but there's just something about the double mouth that I just can't get behind. This looks kinda silly, and I think maybe if the mask, for lack of a better term, came across the face in like a vertical angle or whatever, rather than just like around the jaw, it would be all the better for it. Elements I'll always criticize are the literal shoehorns NetEase insists on incorporating. Not the plastic stick your grandpa uses to put his boot on, rather these literal horns at the top of the shoes. What is the deal with these shoehorns? I first noticed the shoehorns with the Squirrel Girl punk skin, but I'll never be able to unsee them. I could really go without seeing these shoehorns ever again, but something tells me they will return. And now you've seen them too, and you'll never be able to unsee them. Shoehorns, bro. If my buckets of complaints couldn't get any deeper with this character design, let's spin him around real quick and gaze upon his tuxedo tails. You heard me right, ladies and gentlemen. On an outfit designed to look ragged, they put coattails on him as if he's going to a fancy, elegant ball. Not only are they a tonal misfire for me, they also muddy up what would otherwise be a pretty okay silhouette. I don't mean to yuck your yum if you enjoy this costume. I'd rather somebody get enjoyment out of it. I'm just not the biggest fan. But if you're a Venom main who has switched over to this skin, please let me know your reasoning and why you've done so. I'm very interested in that perspective. The next skin down is Star-Lord Luminous Legend. It's a recolor of his base design, and I gotta say, I'm here for this iridescent moment Peter Quill is having. I'll do a full comic evolution on this design, so for now, there's not much else I want to say. Solid recolor. Next we get a very Assassin's Creed looking Moon Knight skin called King of Clubs. I'm not sure if he and Gambit formed a tag team inside of the Thieves Guild or whatever, but this skin leads me to believe that they have. This design is too elaborate to go element per element, but the reasons I associate this design with Gambit are the use of the clubs and the fleur-de-lis. The cowl, hood, cape, and colors give me that Assassin's Creed vibe that I was talking about. I love the Talon feet claws. They are so much cooler than the shoe horns. The last Rivals exclusive in this Battle Pass is for Mantis, and it's called Galactic Gladiator. She's coming in like Prince, wearing nothing but purple. I'm digging the Gladiator skirt, single shoulder pad, and lion head chest armor. I still prefer the base skin and the Guardians of the Galaxy one over this one, but that says more to the strength of those designs rather than it does to the weakness of this one. I really wish they'd give her in-game model the blackout insect eyes like in the selection icons. Let's get some consistency going as it pertains to continuity within these designs, Guan Guan. Now, with those out of the way, we can crack open a comic book and start to have some real fun. For the first one, we don't need to go back too far, we only need to go back to 2024 to the Ultimate Universe 1 year in to get a look at the alternate universe version of Wolverine called the Winter Soldier. That's right folks, in the Ultimate Universe, it was Logan who became the Winter Soldier. This book is written by the great Dennis Camp with art by Jonah Sharf. The Ultimate Universe is about to come to an end, and I have mixed feelings about the whole thing. I adored the Ultimate X-Men and what I read of the Ultimates, but I wasn't a huge fan on this Ultimate Wolverine run, I gotta be honest. But it is okay. In this universe, the big bad is an evil version of Mr. Fantastic called the Maker, who also has a skin in this game by the way. He went back in time to prevent the events that caused superheroes to happen. Like for example, he stopped the spider from biting Peter, therefore the world wouldn't get Spider-Man. Well, at least not until he was married with children. These new takes on familiar characters would have Wolverine become the Winter Soldier instead of Bucky Barnes. In Wolverine's mainline lore, he was the product of government experimentation. That remains true in this version as well. Only now, he's not just given an unbreakable skeleton, he is made up of parts of corpses of a bunch of dead soldiers. This story is okay, but it lost me around issue 3 if I'm being honest, but the costume is so damn cool. I love Logan in red with the full face mask. This design is so threatening and intimidating, only made more so in Marvel Rivals due to his muscularity. This might be my favorite skin for Wolverine in the game so far, and I'm really high up on almost all of them. The bodysuit is simple and the colors are blocked in a way that gives Logan the illusion of being even bulkier. The metal mouth grill is very sweet looking, but if I'm being real, this design just makes me want the classic yellow and blue Wolverine costume in the game. We're so close. It's actually crazy that we don't have that yet. This one is the closest one to it. Either way, the team over there at NetEase really knocked it out of the park with this one. Back even further we go now to the year 2022. The skin, Invisible Woman, Prism Parade. The comic book, Fantastic Four number 23, the Disco Dazzler variant. These designs are nothing alike. The comic book version, drawn by Benjamin Sue, is just Invisible Woman wearing a simple pink sequin disco dress with flared sleeves and go-go boots. The Marvel Rivals version went in such a completely different direction that I'm wondering why they even credited this book as being the costume's first appearance. I didn't read the book, but I did skim through it to see if any disco happens within, and I'm sad to say, it does not. The Marvel Rivals interpretation is fun as hell. I love the disco ball space buns and how that motif carries through to her top and logo on the back. The flared arms and color are literally the only elements the Rivals crew took from Benjamin's initial concept, and I'm a big fan of the direction that they went in. Turning the skirt into a pair of bell bottoms was the best call the designers made when putting this whole thing together. The bell bottoms give her a recognizable 70s silhouette. The blue accents that carry through the swirl on the pants, all the way through to her belt and scarf, tie everything together into a cohesive little package. The color theory, shape language, and finer details on display here are masterful. I don't know if Invisible Woman needed another skin in the game, but Guan Guan goons hard for the Fantastic Four matriarch. As an Invisible Woman player, I'm tempted to grind this battle pass for this skin. And this skin isn't even my favorite in this pack. It might actually be 4th on my list. So that speaks to how much I love all the other skins I've yet to talk about. Before we get to the top 3, which coincidentally happens to be in reverse chronological order, we gotta talk about this Black Panther skin called King of Wakanda. It's a solid design, but not really a big departure from his base skin. I love the mini cape, gold accents, and wrist tie over here. Very solid design that came from issue 18 of Black Panther, written by Reginald Hudlin with art by Karn Andrews. In the book, Black Panther has a much larger cape and he doesn't have the green cloth tied around his wrist. Other than that, it's pretty true to the source material. Now into the top 3, baby. Staying with that same issue of Black Panther, let's switch focus to his bride in the issue, Storm. She also has a skin from that book in this season's Battle Pass called Queen of Wakanda, and it's stunning. In the book, the dress is longer and it doesn't have the cape, but other than that, the design in the game stayed pretty close to the one from the comics. Storm truly looks like a royal goddess here, and for my money, that suits her character so much more than any of her other designs. And trust me, I love Punk Storm. Fashionista Storm is also a baller, but in those other outfits, she still behaves like a royal goddess. So as far as character-based design decisions go, this costume reigns supreme. The gold and white look luxurious in contrast to her skin, and the hits of teal from her jewelry make everything pop. I can't say enough good things about this design. It's gorgeous, but still not my favorite. My top two speak to my interest in comic book history. First, we're going back to what's known as the Bronze Age of comics. During this time, blaxploitation films were really popular, and Marvel wanted in on that action. Let's go back to The Tomb of Dracula number 10 by Marvin Wolfman from July of 1973 with art by Gene Colan for the first appearance of Blade. On the cover, his coat is brown, but on the inside, the iconic green trench coat makes a debut. Blade is looking like a stone-cold vampire slayer with stakes strapped to his chest, a knife strapped to his thigh, yellow goggle glasses, and this mid-sized afro. The design is simple, but it communicates everything that it needs to. The version we get in the game is cinema. It's poetry. It's an absolute achievement in top-class character design. It takes everything from the source material and brings it to the modern age without tweaking any of the iconic elements. This design might even be more 70s than Invisible Woman's full-on disco fit. Look at this thing. This design honors and respects comic book history and basically functions as a monument. The gun and swords are unique to the Marvel Rivals version, but they do not distract or degrade the design in any capacity. This might be one of the coolest skins the game has ever dropped, and the comic book nerd in me geeked out when I first saw it. But I geeked out even further when I saw the next one. I didn't think they'd ever do it, folks. Here I was thinking that the comic book golden age would be too old school for any modern day reinterpretations. But oh boy, do I ever have egg on my face with this one, because they did it with one of the first sidekicks ever, Bucky Barnes. Bucky first appeared all the way back in 1941 in issue 1 of Captain America. He's right there on the cover as Steve punches a failed painter. This book is by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, two gentlemen instrumental in defining the Marvel Universe as we know it today. Stan might get a little bit more credit than he deserves, but that's a story for another day. Drawn by the King Jack Kirby, Bucky is shown to be a ginger boy wearing a blue military-style jacket with a yellow collar. He's combed his hair in the style of a side part, giving off a real all-American kind of vibe. His coat actually has a pair of superhero undies attached to it, and it's worn with a belt in the middle to break it up. His legs are draped in red spandex that his gloves match perfectly, while his boots match the coat. This is the most sidekicky design of all time. A child superhero helper. It sounds really weird when you say it like that. Everybody should read Brat Pack. I felt that this design would be too goofy to put on the uber serious version of him we get in the game. In Marvel Rivals, we don't typically get sidekick Bucky. We get the brooding, back from the dead and cybernetically modified Winter Soldier version of Bucky. The delight that washed over me knowing they took this leap was overwhelming. So let's break down the game version, shall we? Starting at the top. Look at that side part. It's beautiful. That hairstyle is pulled directly from the 40s. I don't mind he was left as a brunette, but the red hair would have been awesome. This version of Bucky ain't no child. This is a grown-ass man, and he's really elevating the sidekick costume into real main character energy. He's got his cybernetic arm, meaning that this version is pretty much a perfect hybrid of his two personas with a heavier emphasis on the Bucky version. I would love to see what he looked like with a yellow collar like the OG, but I'm sure the developers saw both and decided on red for a reason. The yellow might be a little bit too far removed from the color palette they used here. I love that they gave him leather boots and side pouches. These touches bring a little bit of realism to this otherwise extremely comic booky design. Without having the comic book context, I can see how some people would see this as silly looking, but I think it looks sick as hell. In my opinion, this is the best battle pass they cooked up so far, by a long shot. It pays homage to comic book history and ties it together with the motifs and themes they're already exploring in Season 6. Everything is very strong, other than that Venom skin. It's clear to me that the people making this game love these characters as much as the fans do, and that's refreshing in a world of licensed, free-to-play hero shooters. There's a reason people gravitate to this game and suffer through the matchmaking, and that's the care put into these characters. I've been playing this game for a year now, and I'm always excited for every new cosmetic drop. If you're keeping my attention for that long, you're doing something right, especially in a video game genre such as this. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I hope I earned a like and sub from you. Either way, thanks for watching, or whatever.